Sup? Sup? Rip chaos today? Well, I don't know if I would go that far. Did we figure out all the tunic glyphs and translate all the things? Well, we figured out all the glyphs. I translated many of the things. There's like probably a lot of backstory still in the little manual that I haven't translated. Just because, you know, it takes some effort to do the translation. That's all. But that was pretty cool. Like that part of the game went way above and beyond what I expected. I thought it was pretty cool. Look, guys, if you haven't played, the game's been out like a week, guys. If you haven't played it, you're scared you won't be able to do what I did. It was honestly pretty easy. Once you get the basic idea, it's pretty easy. Elden Ring. Yeah, I need to... maybe this weekend we'll go try to find the Elden Ring some more. But, like, I've taken a week off from that game, so am I even going to be able to dodge roll anymore? Like, what if I can't duck under the guy's sword with the right timing all the time? Any good resources for x64 instruction coding stuffs aside from that really bright white website? No, I just use the really bright white website, honestly. Although the other thing that people do, I mean, one thing you can do is just compile a program and see what the assembly looks like, right? Which I think you could even do in Godbolt, maybe. But then another thing is, if you happen to have a certain compiler, right, you can do stuff there and then set a breakpoint there and see what the bytes are in the debugger. And that lets you put in the exact instructions that you want, although the notation's a little bit different, right? Syntax used on that website is pretty confusing to parse. That's the standard Intel syntax, though, right? And so it's like different from the AT&T syntax that you see used on the Linux and all that, but it's actually the standard for these CPUs. The AT&T syntax is not the standard. That said, I agree. Like, I always go to those pages and like, I'm like, what the fuck does /7 mean again? I have no idea, right? What is the largest code base I've worked in? Probably the Witness, which was around 250,000 lines. Well, that I've worked in. Okay, well, I mean, I worked on a game in the Unreal Warfare engine, and that was a disaster because it took 45 minutes to compile, edit, debug. But that was probably millions of lines already back then. I was sort of thinking of more recent history when I just answered the Witness code base. The whole Rex B0 RBIB thing. Yeah, I mean, the thing is the compiler is not going to tell you that either, but you can at least verify what something should look like, right? What are you doing this for? Sounds like a great way to work without working. Yeah, I mean, that always depressed me. That's why I'm trying to make a compiler go fast these days. Guys, I would like you to know that everything is going to go great today because I have this here. Vanilla wafers. And if you look, they're snack size, everybody. They are snack size, as opposed to your non-snack sized vanilla wafers. Codebase you have to work in takes several CPU days to compile. Is it like TensorFlow based? What is it? It's big tech company code base. Okay. So it's mostly code that doesn't really do anything. It's mostly interfaces to APIs that help marshal your data to other APIs. And in the end, what happens is an ad pops up on a web page. What Michael Bro game should you play? Well, there's Cinco Paus is good. There's Coript is good. I don't know. I mean, they're all this weird purple color, so. Okay, I got a bunch of bug reports in the email. And I'm sad because I worked hard and I kind of need a break. Maybe I'll take a break this weekend, but until, like, I had put out a beta where I thought I fixed everything, and then like, oh, now a bunch of bug reports come in. But that's good because I guess it means people are using the compiler. Now, the good thing about these bug reports is none of them are in like anything central and crucial, right? These are all things that like one person is hitting or whatever because they're doing some particular thing. But a lot of these really should work. And so I'm going to look at some new ones that I haven't looked at yet. But like I've looked at 3 or 4 over the past couple days in between other tasks, hoping they would be really easy. And they just ended up being kind of a big bummer. You know, sometimes bugs are like a slog. And so a lot of them have at least looked like they would be that way. And so we're going to see. If we get at least one fixed, that'll be victory tonight. That said, I have, of bug reports lodged in the recent batch, I have this many outstanding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So one is not that much headway, but you know what? When you feel sad in life, it's good to take your victories where you can take them. So our goal is to do one bug, and we're going to do debug compiler. And then after, if we get that, everything's gravy. All right. So let me look at one of these new ones that I haven't opened. One a day and they're gone in 2 weeks if no more come in. Hey, if I stop shipping betas, maybe no more bugs will come in. Let me turn on the air conditioning. Okay. Bug report. Let's use that as a fallback one that might be easy. Let's look for an actual bug. This was one, the one I just clicked on was like, oh, we could use a better error report, which is true. Oh, okay. This one. Yeah, okay. Let me reply to this one. Probably we are going to heavily revamp the slash edition at some point anyway. Okay, so that gets one off the list. That's it's not exactly a won't fix, but it's like a won't fix till later. I have a long-term issues folder. So this one person's bug report made me realize, oh, the way the feature actually works is not maybe the best way for the feature to work, but I don't know right this second what is the better way. And so in that case, I'd rather not like treat it like a bug fix. It's actually like, oh, we need to go think more heavily about this feature and make it better. And that's not what we're doing on this stream. We're trying to grind the bugs, the bugs, the bugs. Yeah, you know, there's this one that was reported on March 11. This is the oldest one. And I started looking at it and it was a bummer. But let's just do it. Let's just fucking attack this one. Dude, browsers are so bad. Browsers are so... This is 548 files someone is sending me. That's good, though. It means people are doing interesting things in the programming language. And therefore, I should support them by fixing the bugs that they are running into. So, this one... I need to go edit the code a little bit because I changed... The report is old and I changed some stuff in random. So, all right. If we can fix this one, it'll be great. $240. And look at all the warnings from getting rid of those. Okay. Procedure call did not match any of the possible overloads. Let me just check this. I'm just getting paranoid because we had a bug in one of these new routines. What the hell is identity of? Oh, there's... Yeah. Yeah, okay, great. Great. Anyway, so we've got another random. And we're just not going to seed because we don't need that. What was the file we were just in? I'm already tired of trying to find the file. Okay. Do that. Okay, this is the actual problem. Undeclared identifier action damage. Now, for some reason, you know what? I want clean output, so I'm going to go undeprecate all these functions just so we can see. Oh, dang it. That doesn't work. Bro. All right. There. Don't even know which of these he's using, but that's fine. Okay, clean output. Undeclared identifier action damage. Now, action damage is declared. So it's a mystery to me why we are not finding it. You could send a new one. No, this is fine. This is fine. My hope is I can just fix this now. So before, when I was looking at this, I was like, maybe it's getting inserted into the wrong scope, but it didn't seem to be. And then I was like, well, maybe the import isn't going off, but it did seem to be. Let me just see. All right. So action damage is in abilities. Oh, dude. Okay, action damage. And I tried renaming it. I was like, oh, maybe it's a hash table problem. So I gave it a different name. Didn't solve the problem. Okay. Now, I don't know when we print this out. Let's just see. Pills here. Oh, I only do it during parsing. I guess that's so that I can set a breakpoint there and set data breakpoints and stuff. Okay. What I want to know is this declaration actually getting processed before we hit the error message? And we're just going to hack the shit out of the compiler. We're not going to... Sometimes you like step through the debugger all dainty and twinkle toes. No. This problem requires a different approach, and it took me a long time to learn to recognize. Some days you just don't fuck around with twinkle toes debugger bullshit, and this is one of those days. Here's how you debug this. So we do things like infer types on declaration. Okay. Let me take off that. Well, we'll leave the flag on. So we do infer it. That's good. It does exist. It's getting parsed. It's getting loaded. And that happens before. Now, the thing is, this isn't necessarily the... and this is not sufficient for other people to see it because this is being placed in file scope, right? So I don't remember. Where is it? Make using import declaration. I think that's what we want. Where's that? Make using import. That's in ask.cpp. Okay, this is why. This is the problem. Well, maybe it's the problem. We don't see it because it's not there. Probably. Probably it's not there. Now, there is the possibility that I have neglected to put a thing in the right place. And so we are going to okay, we have all right. Let me just double check this first before we go. Who else does it? Placeholder, which we're not dealing with. Collect over. Okay, that's fine. Import scope modified declaration. That's for macro expansions only. Yeah, I think we're good. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we're good. Okay, by the way, among our snacks, we have Pringles pizza flavor, starring the Pringles man. Is he still a man, or has he like gone the Mr. Potato Head way? I don't, or the Potato Head way. Now this is already fake news because on the front it looks like there's fun, different colored Pringle chips all stacked up, but that's not how it is. It's just this. It's very boring. Are my Tunic VODs gone forever? Yeah, I deleted them. Why are they gone? Because I don't want weirdos going apeshit about what I think about video games when I play them. It bothers me a lot. Like, I don't want someone to make a YouTube clip of me saying something negative about the game and then cutting to somebody going, oh, or whatever. You know what I mean? Just fuck all that stupidity. So I delete them. Blame all the people on the internet who have ever been stupid for why those VODs aren't up. Okay, those Pringles are not very good, but we have other snacks yet. Okay, so I think the next thing to do to triple, quadruple verify let me just see. Okay. Okay. Where is this again? This is in abilities. And this is being loaded, I think. It's being loaded from main. Pretty simple, honestly. Pretty simple. And so what this means to me is either that load hasn't completed yet, in which case we shouldn't be giving up on this identifier, or the load did complete and it somehow didn't register this name. I believe we put a scope export here, but we're going to do it just in case, and it'll do the same thing, right? Yeah. Okay, so we need to figure out what is the case with there. So I don't remember. Why am I in Sokoban? Okay, so if load short name abilities starting load. God damn it. C++ is so stupid. All right. Didn't even get that. Well, I wonder if this is due to... Oh, this is in load string, guys. I just searched for parse top level. There's another one here for load file. Right? Yeah, load file. That is my mistake. I play for you my mistake. Okay, starting load right there. Boom. We are starting the load. Now we have started the load, and then we go to parse top level. So I assume this will happen. Wait. This won't happen. Let's check that. That won't happen because it doesn't belong to a struct. It's in the main module. Starting load, yeah. Okay, just double checking. Now, I don't remember. Oh, it's in Make Datascope Be Live. Wait, what? Oh, this is a little bit sus. All of this is just a little too... Okay, so we claim that we finished the load. Finished. Finished. If I always felt C++ was stupid, no, I thought it was fine back in like 1998. Okay. Now, where does the exporting of the symbol into module scope go? Or into yeah, module scope. I don't remember if that happens for each declaration. I'm looking for the thing that actually does this. Using has gone live. Maybe. I think it's here. Right? Because we call this, yeah. So I think we will see that, and I could set a breakpoint there. Yeah, making Datascope be live. All right, let me set up the arguments for this. Okay. Here we go. I'm already just having a better time debugging this than when I was doing the Twinkle Toes debugging, because just trying to set data breakpoints in the compiler for certain conditions, like that's good for some types of problems. But sometimes, honestly, it just kind of sucks. Now, if we had debuggers with anything newer than 1990s technology, maybe it wouldn't suck. I don't know. Well, I open my IR language to make it easy for Peeplo to make their own backends. No. Why would I do that? Okay. Okay. Module scope has the right flags. Should be the only thing in here. Yep. Okay. For example, for user-generated content, well, just compile them. This is not a scripting language. Scripting languages are mostly bullshit. Okay, well, register names is true. Entries file scope is 3. Entries module scope is 21. Question is, action kind, action updater, action connection, ability, action shake, ability caster, find connection for input, output, combatant, spellbook, move to state, action move to, damage kind, action damage. Right there, we are adding this thing. Okay. That was weird. Wait, what? Did we accidentally... Did Visual Studio just swap what fucking thread we were? Or something like... No, maybe not. I don't know what that was. Okay. Add to scope. Okay. So what I can do is I can just remember what scope this... Like, we're hacking the shit out of the compiler, right? When we store this, I will save in a global variable what scope it was in. Matku. Put it out here just in case. Okay. Oh, this should be ast block. Dang it. Bro, I screwed it up. Oh, because if there might not be an identifier. Bound action damage, block flags 210. It's kind of hiding. It's kind of hiding, but it's right there. Okay. That is happening before we look it up. So either the hash table is busted and that is falling out, or somehow when we're looking it up, okay. Okay, this big old function that we probably need to make much slimmer someday is what we run every single frickin' time we look up an identifier anywhere. Okay. called ident if available. Bro! So many lookups because we keep not finding it. See, right here we try to look it up in the action damage block. We stored it there. We stored it in the hash table, guys. So this is literally, we can set the breakpoint right there. See, we keep retrying it because we're not finding it, even though we should have. We keep retrying it because every time the compiler cycles for other reasons right now, we retry it. It should have hit it the first time, actually, because when we set the action damage block, we actually put it in there. So what is the deal with airplane food? I hope the hash table isn't host. Maybe it is. Okay. Okay. Why don't we find it? We could start recording the table size, noticing. Okay, it's a pretty big hash table, unfortunately. Let's just see what happens. Probe increment 1. I guess we got kind of unlucky on that hash. That's a little sus, though. That right shift by 27 is a bad way to get another hash if write that down. Like if your hash function doesn't generate randomness in all the bits, but like gradually builds a larger number, then for short inputs, this is bad. Okay. Bucket 1B5, so it's pretty early in the table. Okay. Hash array bucket. That's our hash. I wonder if we stomped on the memory somehow. Bro, how'd we get a capital D? Okay, does this hash to the same thing somehow? It's pretty sus that that's the character after the underscore. This might be a job for a data breakpoint now. Why does an increment of 1 break it? It doesn't. It doesn't break it. The reason I was saying it was bad was because if a lot of people have an increment of 1, that's bad for the overall speed of the hash table because they can collide easily. I talked about why on the Coffee Compiler Club video on YouTube from a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the hash table would still work if everybody has an increment of 1. It would just be slower, and we want the compiler to be fast. Okay. When I add stuff to the table, we're just going to go, like I said, we're hacking the shit out of the compiler. We are taking no prisoners. Sometimes this is just how you do it. Like, we are not fucking around. Okay. We don't have an interp. And I'm going to check to see if we do that. I don't think we will have. When uniform hashing mean 0 in the low 5 bits, we're right shifting by 27, so we're taking the top 5 bits. Okay, for some reason, we add action damage 4 times, 5 times. I'm not sure why. Oh, because when we resize the table, we call this function. We're never... Okay, this is interesting. Just print out the table size. And after the last time, now, so that'll probably be 8192, right? Because note that all my output is blue because computers are stupid. 8192. Now, after that, we fail to look it up. Let's see if it's consistently the same. See, this is so much more powerful, what I'm doing right now, than stepping through in a debugger. Let's make sure to no check in these. I mean, it shouldn't be. We should have better tools, but we don't. They're ass. So sometimes you just have to do this stuff. Okay, if it's equal... See, I don't know if it's a corruption and it corrupts the same way every time or what. In the top 5. Well, I was just saying there's different ways of hashing. What do you mean by uniform hashing? Do you mean if you use a totally perfect hash function in all scenarios, isn't it not a problem? Yes. But it's actually kind of hard to use a perfect hash function in all scenarios. Like, especially if you're making this, found a capital D in the table. Literally, okay, so here and then here, found a capital D in the table. So I guess we're stomping memory somewhere in there, although that's a really weird memory stomp. So we're going to break here, conditions, table size is 8192. Close. Go, 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 go. All right, now data breakpoint. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I bet we're capitalizing some shit. Okay, breakpoints. Watch this not trip. I bet 50-50 it doesn't trip. OX, CB, 4, 2, 3, C7. So if we actually overwrite that with a capital D, and I didn't typo that address, we should find it. Boom! It's in the bytecode. Is our user code, is it writing to the motherfucking strings? Bro, you can't do this. Bro, you're using 2-upper in place on strings the compiler gave you. Holy shit. Right? User error. Okay, user error. This is something that ideally the compiler would protect against better, but it's just hard to do that kind of stuff right now. I should have thought of that initially. Yeah, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Well, I guess we fixed the bug. Is the author of this code on the stream? Did you see that? Did you see that? You spent 10 minutes writing a bug repro, but it seems the issue has been fixed. For which? For what? Do you mean in the recent beta? Yeah, so here's the deal. The compiler makes strings for stuff, right? Like in this case, it's the name of a variable. And we don't mark these strings read-only because that's maybe an expensive operating system operation, and or it would make more sense to do that if our data was stored in a certain way and it isn't. And or like, how do we, because we're storing a bunch of names, then passing them to the user, then storing a bunch of names and passing them to the user, like it's not always clear. Like some would probably have to not be read-only anyway because we haven't filled up that page. But so the user program was modifying the string that the compiler was using. Now, you could also say, hey, we should copy everything before handing it to the people, but that incurs a performance impact. So it's, although maybe it might not be that bad. It's worth thinking about. But for now, what's happening is the compiler gave the user program. Okay, well, there you go. Now you know the solution to your problem. You just got to copy that string, or any string the compiler hands you, copy it before modifying it, because it may be in use by the compiler. And unfortunately, it's not very easy for me to think of for the reasons so the reason I was just talking about making the pages read-only is because that would be a very fast way to detect this problem, right? Like if you try to modify the string from your user program and it's in read-only memory, you get the idea really fast that what you did was bad, right? Whereas here, there's no feedback, right? The feedback is the compiler mysteriously fails to work. So I think long-term, we will want to do something better about this. Short-term, I don't know. I will think about it. But there you go. C minus equals 32. I do it that way, but I do it with a bit mask instead of a minus. I mean, I guess you know what character range it's in, right? But actually, yeah, I don't know. Oh, no problem. I mean, it was sort of a bummer waste of time, but it sort of wasn't, because what this illustrates to me, like part of the reason why I do this programming and why I want to have beta users and stuff is it's part of keeping it real, right? Like I am responsible for the system being good. And what problems do people run into when they're trying to use it is part of the system being good, right? So this particular problem is part of the reason it came up is because the system's very powerful, right? Like, because we have all this introspection and crazy abilities. Well, that comes with a little bit of a downside, I guess, right? And so it's my job now to think about like, well, how do we make this a little better, right? And this is part of and I think it's more of a long-term question, right? Like in the short term, it's like, hey, now you know to think about this if you see anything weird come up. Maybe we can write this in the documentation somewhere. In fact, I should at the very least put that in the documentation. I'm making a note of that. In the longer term, I'm not totally sure what is really the best way to handle this. Even copying the strings before we send them to the user. I mean, I guess that does solve this particular problem. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I suspect that either that or making them read only or both is what we'll do eventually. It's just we're not there right now. Anyway, though, like that's part of what I'm doing right now is that I'm observing what happens when people use the high level abilities that this language gives them. And you know, okay, on the one hand, it's a little bit of a bummer that we have this kind of issue. On the other hand, dude, this is way more robust than the original compile time execution system that I demoed in 2014 in the beginning. It's like so much better and so much more withstanding of real sized programs and weirdness and having your code be well defined, that a wrinkle like this is like, oh yeah, okay, we could think about that, but I'm not that worried about it. So GG's. I'm going to check that one off. Sorry it took 12 days to get to it, but I've had a lot going on. I also had to find the Elven ring and decipher alien writing systems. So, you know. Anyway, that was the success criterion for tonight, was fixing one bug. Turned out the bug was not in the compiler, but that's fine. We didn't specify that when we set the goals. Now I'm going to revert all these things. I just want to make sure, you know, sometimes I have changes from a day or two ago that I didn't check in from this machine. So I'm just verifying that we don't have those. Look at that. Okay. Look at what a gnarly bug that was. Think about this. Okay. We have, how many files were in this whole thing, right? It was a lot, right? We have a user program consisting of 500 files for some reason. There's like a bunch. Okay. I guess it includes, this includes support modules and stuff. But nevertheless, it's one of the biggest beta user programs. All right, so it's a complicated user level program. It's a complicated compiler. We had a gnarly bug that didn't seem to make any sense. And we tracked it down in, you know, an hour. Earlier in my career, this bug would have taken a week. Maybe not. A few days. Because I just wasn't as good at knowing how to approach certain kinds of things. Here it was just like, okay, this is obviously a gnarly bug. You need to attack it, right? You need to undergo total war with the bug. And sometimes when you do that, you find it very quickly, right? So Yeah, I'm happy with our performance there. Um, that's great. Boom. Have I seen Skype running in the background? I don't have Skype installed, I don't think. Tim Apple would be pleased. Yes, well, I am pleased. GG's. So now anything that we figure out is gravy, as they say. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes brain break. I'm going to grab another drink. Anyone have technical questions that I could answer? Let me know. And then we'll go on and we'll look at another bug from the bug list. But I do want to reemphasize, if you watched what we did there to find that bug, no abstraction layer was respected, right? We went into the hash table add function and put a stir comp like, is this action damage, right? It was like the dumbest debugging code you've ever seen, and it found the problem, right? So like, and it's hard for me to explain why that's so unintuitive, I think. Like, you just wouldn't do that to your hash table usually, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But at some point, I just learned that that's... It's like... This doesn't make any sense, but the metaphor that popped into my head is sometimes you have to go to the 3-star Michelin restaurant in your underwear to find the bug, right? I don't know why that is what popped into my head, but it doesn't make sense to me either, but that's what happened. Okay, no questions? Nobody has technical questions. 304 viewers and 0 of them have serious technical questions of any kind. I am very happy. That could have been, yeah, that could have been an ugly bug. Order a cheeseburger, yeah. Rate your JSON implementation 0 because I hate JSON. That said, I'm sure some people will be very happy that you did it. So it's fine. It's right there on screen. Okay, well. Thoughts on game engines like Unity and Unreal Engine? My thought is, why are you asking me? What do you want from me? Okay. Great. Do not modify strings handed to you by the compiler. All right. Next up. I mean, I have a bunch of speeches on YouTube where I talk about why and why not to use game engines. And it's just redundant for me to answer it again. You could look it up. Any more chats planned with Casey? I mean, we never really planned any of those. It was just like when something came up and it was like, oh, I wonder if I could have a good conversation with Casey about this. And really, there hasn't been anything like that lately. We just both commiserate about how bad programming is today. And apart from that, there's not much to talk about. I just have a lot of work to do, and I try to do it. Okay. That is great to have that knocked off the list. Okay. I also started looking at this one, and it was also a bummer, but it is now like pretty much the oldest of the recent there is a few bugs that just like sneak in. Oh man, I have a bug from March 4 that I haven't done yet. I'm gonna write that down in case it slips off my email. Okay. What now? So this probably still generates an error. Undeclared identifier stuff. Yeah, so when we polymorph param, we're going to end up copying all this. Boom. Boom. I'm not sure why. Yeah, I'm less depressed all the time since I've been in Florida. San Francisco is just a very depressing place to live now. Is the issue a struct within a struct? No. In fact, I suspect the same thing will happen if I do this. Right? We could do this to try and simplify. Yeah. Now, if I put it out here, it's probably fine. Yeah. So here's the deal. When we polymorph this procedure, we copy the struct. And when we copy the struct, we're probably doing something a little bit different in terms of when this procedure use stuff gets scheduled to be its own compilation unit. If this comes in through the parser, then that shouldn't happen until stuff is live, or until this whole block has been processed. And I suspect that that's not correctly happening. like I suspect it's getting, because the code is kind of old and has been through a lot of scenarios. I suspect we're actually making this go live when we copy it. So that's kind of what I want to do as my first step in debugging this, is like, when does this go live actually? Why is that still open? All right. So we can go back to our normal folder. Do this. Boom. And we're going to set a breakpoint here, which is just like when we report an error. And we go. Also, I bet I have a bunch of bad. Oh, get rid of that. All right. So we're reporting an error. Undeclared identifier. Oh, report stuck pipe. Dang it. But this probably. This probably is fine. All right, so queued expression type is a lambda. Yep, it should be that use stuff lambda. Expression line number 4. It is on line 4. Okay, so it is this procedure. So there we go. Why? Okay. Oh, yes. See, what? Hold on. Hold on. What is this here? We're inferring. Oh, it's the declaration, guys. The declaration goes live for. I got confused because the way the compiler used to work is that the procedure would go live and then the declaration would go live. And it's actually the opposite now. Okay. Struct has gone live. Well, this is the right place for that to happen. right? Well, come on, bro. What is wrong with Visual Studio? We've got two statements. Data, comma 2. Two declarations. The first one. All right. They're both in there, though. This one is going to be stuff. Yep. Okay. So we made them both live. And register names should be set, right? But we're not adding to like a module scope. So I think what scope is it? Okay, members is 0. So at some point, we should increment this. Okay. Add to scope. From make data scope below. Oh, these are entries file. Okay. Oh, come on. Visual Studio is terrible. Okay, so use stuff. That first one would have been stuff. This is all fine. Target scope. We're going to remember this value. That's the scope that is holding both of these guys. Now later on, so one other thing that could be wrong is that somehow the procedure could be parented to the wrong scope, which I don't think it is. But let's see. Wait, what did we... Oh, because my data breakpoint is still there. Oh, yeah. So, we've got this identifier. So we're going to go to the enclosing scope, parent, parent, parent. So I kind of don't get this. Wait. We're in an argument block, constants block, what? What? Why is that an imperative block? That seems incorrect. That seems not right. Anyhow, so that is enough to cause the bug right there. But I want to see, but by the time we get back up to a data scope, which would be the struct, except it doesn't say it belongs to struct, but it does say two statements, but it probably doesn't say two members, no. So this is probably the wrong one. 41B6. Yeah. So it looks to me like this scope is just wrong. Okay. Why? Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? Well, when we construct this identifier, we will have done it via copying. And it will have happened because we'll have said to copy this statement. And maybe for some reason the block stack, when copying the statement, is wrong. Let's just see though. So this identifier has a serial number. Debug stamp. We're going to go here. We're going to set a breakpoint. We're going to go here. Going to set the stamp. Boom. Run it back. What do you mean, why? What are you whying? Okay, so we are copying this identifier from this type instantiation. From the declaration, that's the argument declaration, from the arguments block, from the lambda. Now, I feel like when we get here, we're already hosed, right? Dest. That's imperative. Why? Why? So we have block stack. It's got one thing in it. That's going to be an imperative scope. What? What line? Line 1? Okay. We're just like not... Right. Yeah, okay. Okay. When we make the lambda, now normally all right. Wait, it's the wrong... Oh no, guys, it's the wrong lambda. At least that second one. This one... This is the wrong one. So here we're copying the declaration of thing, which is the whole frickin' ass struct. Now, okay, so now we're copying the statements in the struct. Okay. One of those is a declaration called use stuff. Okay. Now I'm so confused, guys. Okay. Okay. Okay, wait, which declaration is this? This is use stuff. So we're copying, and that's a lambda. Yeah, this is still wrong though. It's like it's skipping this struct. So what we didn't do is add to the block stack here. No. Here? Where? Here. Frick. 806. The plan is to get rid of copier. Well, we haven't done that yet. We have made some steps in that. Oh, fuck. I was hoping that would just fix it. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is dest scope. I don't think that's going to matter. Oh, it did. GG's. Let's make sure we didn't break anything. Hello. Welcome, people for whom it's been a while since you caught a stream. So the deal there was when we copy a struct, we were not necessarily setting the correct scope on members of the struct body, the correct outer scope. So if we were looking up identifiers from within the struct, we wouldn't see them outside. It's kind of shocking to me that no other program tripped that off. We're going to definitely have to make a test case out of this. I'm going to run the tests again. Now that that is in there. What's a copier? It's a thing that copies the data structures. Yeah, it's very surprising that this somehow, because this code isn't that complicated. Like, really? And it's basically, if this refers to anything here or outside, we're fine. It's only if this refers to other things in the same scope. Easy clap. Fixed a problem with incorrect scoping when struct bodies were copied due to polymorphism. Okay. Great. Easy clap. So we got 2 bugs today. One was an actual bug in our actual compiler. Oh, the math. Oh, right. For some reason I didn't revert that one, but what's this one? Oh, yes. Let's revert that one. No need noising up the thing. Okay, I will reply to the person. That is a quite old bug. I will say, this is fixed in the next beta. Boom. So that was an 11 days old bug. We have one from March 4th that was reported by someone on our team that I need to get to. But other than that, we're sort of up to about 8 days now. Dude, this past week has gone by really fast. I don't even know what happened. Great. Okay, so that might be the end of the stream. I'm a bit bedtime ready. Wasn't I supposed to call the added test? I did. I did. See, this is called procedure in copied struct. Procedure in copied struct. It's just big, so you don't, you know, but there it is. I played video games. Yeah, I mean, not today, but recently. They do make my brain tired sometimes. It's true. All right, well, thanks everybody. We made progress today. And it's been good. And, you know, like I said, there's a few more bugs, like a significant handful, but I don't think it's anything that'll last past the weekend. And none of them are super serious, like I was saying. They're all just, you know, like it's not good that they're there, but they're all not that heinous. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Have a good time on your own projects. See you later.